Welcome back. We're here with Tiffany from Simply Cultivated Health. Tiffany, how are you?
I'm doing amazing, Easton. Thanks for having me here.
Of course, I'm excited to chat with you, and so thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
So, why are you so passionate about helping others before they get to the point of no return?
That's a personal struggle that I dealt with earlier after having my kids because the medical field kind of failed me.
Yeah.
I ended up having 2 irreversible surgeries that have caused me to live the way that I live. I had a hysterectomy, which now messes with my hormones. I've also had my gallbladder taken out, so it's a lot harder for me to process foods and stuff. So a lot of it could have been caught earlier and fixed. So now I'm passionate about catching that for other people before they go through what I went through.
And it seems like it really allows you to relate to other people that are going through things, so you know the pain that they're not only struggling with, but you know what could be ahead of them as well.
Absolutely. Yep. I see some of the symptoms that I dealt with. I see the same thought processes that they're going through that I've dealt with. And I'm like, hey, here's some recommendations. Here's where I can kind of come in and I can help you before you take that next step.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that really gives people confidence when they're working with you. They know you've been through stuff. I think there's a lot of people in the medical field that have never struggled with the things or even struggled with anything for that point of what their clients are going through. So I think it really helps build trust, build credibility, and just make them feel comfortable when they're talking with you.
Absolutely. Yep. That's my goal.
Yes. And so why does looking at your blood give a clear picture of current or maybe future health problem that could arise?
So a lot of symptoms that we deal with can actually be found in the blood work before they turn into a major issue. When I look at the blood work, I'm looking through an optimal point of view, not the conventional point of view that regular doctors use. So we can catch problems a lot sooner than if we wait for them to go outside the normal ranges. I can see when the numbers are outside a balance or a ratio or a pattern way before they would, find it. And then we can start working to get you back into that balance before it goes haywire. So it takes a lot less time that way. So that's why I like looking at the blood work. Black and white numbers on the paper, I'm not guessing. I'm not looking at your symptoms and trying to match. I'm just looking right at the blood work and I'm going, okay, here is the issue. We're going to focus on this.
And why do you think getting your blood work done isn't one of the first things that the medical system kind of, looks at?
I feel because they don't know how to look at it. They just see it as, oh, we're going to, draw your blood. We're going to look for these outrageous numbers. If they're not there, then we're not going to do anything with it. Yeah. When I draw the blood and I look at it and I'm seeing those numbers that are just outside a range, because I know what I'm looking for through a functional medicine point of view, then I can say, hey, we need to work on this. We need to fix this. We need to bring this back into balance. They don't think about pulling the blood work because that's not their first step. They want to take your symptoms and they want to match it to a medication instead. So,
and I think it's very fascinating because they don't take that approach. Like they don't really give it any credit. They're like, oh, you know what? Like if it's not bad, then we don't want to treat it. And like you said, they only treat the symptoms. So like what can someone do if they're not getting their blood work done to really start to notice that things are off in their body, or like maybe they have a problem coming up?
Pay attention to your body. You start getting that constant sickness or that stomach pain, or you just don't feel right. A lot of people get gaslit by doctors saying it's just in your head or it's not anything to worry about, or pay attention. You know your body better than anyone because you live in it every day. Don't listen to somebody telling you that, oh, it's no big thing. If you feel that it's a big thing, start taking steps to do what you need to do with it.
Yeah, and I hear like a lot of holistic people say that you need to be your own doctor. And I think that's a really important part of like, don't put credibility in the hands of people that went to school to learn it. You should know your body better than anyone.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
you're in it daily, right? Mm-hmm. And so can you kind of talk about how the Rockefellers played a part in keeping America unhealthy?
So the Rockefellers actually bought a lot of the universities and everything that teach the medical community, your doctors, your oncologists, and all of that. And so because they bought the universities, they also pay into the pharmaceutical industry. So therefore, instead of fixing the person and their problems, they actually want them to be put on those medications because they cause the issue, so they can then have the solution for the issue. So it's like double-handed in that. So if you go back and look through all of that, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, Blackstone, they got their hand in all of it. So They don't want you to get healthy because they don't make money.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
It's all about controlling money, all of
Exactly.
it. Every single part of it. And I also saw that you posted on Facebook talking about shoes. Can you talk about how shoes damage the structure of our feet?
So when you walk, your feet are supposed to actually be able to spread out so that you have more of a balance. That's why everyone has an arch. When you put your feet inside shoes, it kind of closes them off. It doesn't allow your toes to spread the way they need to. That's why a lot of people, their ankles turn inwards. They have bunions. They just start getting like the hammer toes, a lot of foot pain. Well, when you get the foot pain, that's throwing off the rest of your body. It's throwing off your knees. It's throwing off your hips. It's throwing off your shoulders. So then your entire body is just out of alignment. So you may be having a shoulder pain that's caused because of your foot. So a lot of people need to start realizing your body is interconnected. All your systems are interconnected. Your skeletal system, it's all interconnected. The muscles. So when one spot is out of whack, it's just going to cause problems through the whole body.
Yeah, and I think that relates back to what we were talking earlier about the symptoms, right? They look at shoulder injury, like, oh, my shoulder's hurt, I have to get surgery. But since they're not aware, since they're not taught these things, then they're like, there's no way me wearing shoes could hurt my shoulder because I wasn't taught that.
Right. Absolutely. They're not taught about how the whole body works together.
And that it's all connected.
Yes.
And can you talk about the power of tapping on your body?
So a lot of people understand what acupuncture is. It's the energy flow that runs through your body. The chi is what they call it. My beliefs on that are a little bit different. I'm more of the scientific person on that. We are an electrical being. That's why when somebody's having a heart attack or the wrong arrhythmia, they can shock you and bring your heart back into balance. We have electrolytes in our system. It helps with all the nervous system messages. That's all from electrical systems. So we do have these things called meridians. They're meridian lines. They're main lines of energy that run through your body. When you have a trauma or an injury or something, it can actually cause that energy to get stuck in certain spots in your body. So therefore, the rest of your body is not getting the correct amount of energy. So when you go through and you do tapping, you're actually kind of like acupuncture. You hit those certain spots. You're releasing that energy back into the body. So like I said, it's not necessarily the belief system behind it that I'm for. It's the scientific proof. We are electrical beings, and there are thousands upon thousands of cases where people use tapping to help with weight loss, past trauma, injury, anxiety, depression, ADHD, you name it. Somebody is out there using tapping to help bring all of that back into a balance.
And is this more of a practice that we might see like in the Eastern, type of like world?
That's where it's originated from, yes. It is kind of branched off from the acupuncture for the people that don't want to actually use the needles. That's where the tapping has come from. You do use some of the same meridian lines and some of the same points, not all of them. Acupuncture has thousands of points. You're only using a select few of the main meridian lines.
Interesting. Yeah, I saw you post about that, and I'm like, this is very interesting. I've never heard about, something like this. You hear about acupuncture when it comes to sports or, like healing. But like, is this a practice like that anyone can do like at their house, or do they have to, like build up like a certain practice to do it?
No, you can learn how to do tapping all on your own. It's mainly done in the face. There are a couple in the hands and on the chest area, but it's mainly the face. And it's just, you just tap certain points, and then it just sits there and releases the energy. So depending on what you're dealing with, there may be certain techniques or spots that you would have to do in a certain pattern. But other than that, anyone can practice it.
Yeah. And I also saw you post about that you're Christian.
Yes.
On Facebook as well. Why do you think so many Christians are unaware of the names of Yahweh and Yeshua?
I think because they haven't learned how to bring the Bible back to the original language that it was written in. That's why there is a lot of controversy over what verse is the correct verse. This doesn't say that. Jesus never said this. Well, we have taken that translation from Hebrew and Greek, and we've translated it into the languages that we can understand. But Hebrew and Greek have so many different words for different things that if you don't have the right translation, you're going to lose what that verse is actually supposed to say. the names Yahweh and Yeshua have been removed from the Bible that we know of today, whereas you can find it all over in the old scriptures. So that's why people don't know what those names are. So when, God says, use my name, or, don't take my name in vain, it's not using God. God is a title. He is God. Yahweh is his name. So when I'm talking to him and I'm praying to him, I use his name because it's more of a personal basis,
And can you kind of talk about like the difference of like labeling him God versus you using like Yahweh? Like what's kind of like the difference there?
I do that because other religions say God. You have all these other, you have Buddhists and you have the Islamic religion, all that, and they say God. That doesn't differentiate what God you're talking about. So whereas when I use Yahweh, I know the God that I'm talking about. And if other people understand and recognize that that is his name, then they're going to understand that I'm talking about him as well. Whereas if I'm just saying God, I'm praying to God or God Almighty, I look at some people and I go, well, which God? Because, according to other people, there's so many out there. I want to be specific. I want to say Yahweh.
That's awesome, because I also say the same thing, and I've never had anyone explain it like that. So that was very interesting, and I think it's a very educational thing when you start to dive down that path of like, okay, what's really going on with the Christian religion? Why are some names included? Why do people use this name versus this name? So I think it's fascinating. And I have 2 more questions for you.
Yeah.
If you could have dinner with 2 people, one person from the past and one person from the present, who would it be and why?
Oh, one person from the past. Anybody. That's going to be a long list to choose from. I would want to have dinner with a lot of past presidents and Martin Luther King, obviously Yeshua. You'd want to have dinner with him. I've thought about this quite often, like when you get to heaven, who would you want to actually go to? And everyone would want to go see Yeshua. Obviously, I would want to go see him too. But I'm thinking of some of the other characters of the Bible that would be interesting, like Moses, splitting the Red Sea, and Jonah being stuck in the big fish. And I'd have to say Moses. That has been a definite thing in my mind. Like, I hope that we have a movie theater in heaven that when we get there, I can say, hey, can you replay this? I want to actually see it. I want to see the Red Sea being split. I want to see the people walking on the dirt, So I'm going to go with Moses for the past.
Yes.
Present, this may be controversial, but I would say President Trump.
Okay.
I would love to sit down with that man. A lot of people are against him because he's not political. But I think that's what our nation needs right now. I think they need a businessman, which is what he is. So I don't know how you feel about him. I'm not going to ask, but I think I would love to sit down with President Trump.
Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
Those are 2 good ones. And before I get to the last question, can you talk about the expo that you're hosting this year?
Oh, yeah. So last year was the first year that we did it. It's called Ignite Your Passion for Wellness. It was held at Birchwood Meadow out in Swanton. We had vendors, we had speakers, we had a miniature farmer's market outside, we had lunch. Everyone got to come and listen and learn about holistic healing, different modalities that you can do to heal yourself, like salt therapy and red light therapy. We had a chiropractor here. We had the bison farm here selling meat. So this year is the second year that we're doing it. It's going to be September 23rd. It's going to be in the same location, Birchwood Meadow in Swanton. This year we're doing an evening expo because we want to do dinner and we want to have more of an ambiance to it. So looking forward to it.
We are very excited to be a part of it too.
Yes, absolutely.
I have one last question for
Yes.
you. Why did you decide to partner with us and offer the discounts?
I think what you do is very, very important, not only for the small businesses, but also for the people that are going to use this. And to be able to partner with you and get people aware of what is available to them to get healthy or to use better products, or just to know that there are offers out there that they can take advantage of. Maybe they find something that's going to totally change their life and they're just so glad that they found it by using Digi Discounts. So I wanted to partner with that because I believe in what you're doing for the community and for the businesses, but also because I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of helping people heal and just figure out, what I can do to help myself. So that's what that's about.
Well, we appreciate you as a partner, and thanks for being involved with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for letting me be on board.
Oh my gosh, of course. And those are all the questions I have for you.
Okay.
How can people find you, and what is one thing you want to leave people with?
You can find me at simplycultivated.com. I'm also working out of Infinite Kinetics right now in Wauseon, Ohio, so you can make appointments there. The one thing that I want to leave for people is take back control of your health. Do not leave it in the hands of other people, because there are so many people, medical practitioners, Western medical practitioners, that they don't know what they're doing, only because they haven't been learned, or they haven't been taught properly. It's by what they've learned. So nothing against them, but they've only learned to match symptoms to a pill. They haven't learned how to actually give people the power. We have to take it back for ourselves.
Yes.
And that's what this is all about.
I agree. I think a change is coming for sure.
Absolutely, 100%.
Well, Tiffany, thanks for coming up. I appreciate it.
Yep, thank you for having me.